I want milk punch, damn it.
Maybe we could drink together. I'll make a cocktail, you can make it with me. Maybe we could drink together. I'll buy ingredients and teach you how to use them. We can get drunk in the virtual world. The drinks are awfully good and you don't have to tip. You don't have to tip me, you don't have to tip me, you don't have to tip me, you don't have to tip.
Milk punch dates back forever. Aphra Behn, the English writer, is credited with popularizing it kind of across Europe, but it dates back before that, probably invented by the Irish, but we're talking about the 1600s. So this is a cocktail before cocktails were cocktails. A lot of people think about the 1800s as really when cocktails were popularized, and this is 200 years before that, so really kind of serving a different purpose, oftentimes drunk in the morning, and definitely a hangover curative. The thing about milk punch is you can certainly find a lot of recipes online. You can find Thomas Jefferson's actual recipe online. Jerry Thomas had a recipe in his early cocktail book. That's pre-Prohibition. That's the first printed true cocktail book. So you can find a lot of versions, but the truth is milk punch is more of a technique than it is a set recipe. There's a lot of things you can do with it, but it's a technique about clarifying milk, which makes it very shelf stable and creating a drink from it that in a bottle could last almost indefinitely. We are not going to make a big punch today. We're going to do a single glass because I love milk punch. I don't always want to make a jug of it. We're going to do one single drink. So why don't we start with milk? We're going to do 1.5 ounces of milk separate from the rest of the drink here. Into a big glass. Now, we're using, for our base spirit, 2 spirits here. The Cinque by Don Ciccio. This is an American amaro out of DC. Really beautiful. It is his version of Campari or Aperol, so if you can't find Don Ciccio, even though it's in a lot of places, you could substitute something like that. We're going to do just 1/2 ounce of this into a different glass. We're not mixing them yet. And then 1.5 ounces of our 1904. Now, if you can't find 1904, there's not a really direct substitute. This is an Apple Brandy Liqueur infused with ginger, orange peels, coriander, sweetened with raw apple juice. Really very unique, and one of my favorite milk punch ingredients. But if you can't find it, you might just try a different milk punch recipe. We're gonna do 1.5 ounces into our little beaker thing there. And then some lemon juice. Now the lemon juice is the key to clarifying the milk. It's the acidity of the lemon that's going to curdle the milk. And don't get grossed out yet because we're gonna get rid of all those curdles in the final product. It's worth sticking with this one. We do not need very much of this. We're gonna use about 1/8 of an ounce, which is really very little. There's not even a measurement on my jigger for it. So I just kind of significantly underpour 1/4 of an ounce, and that ought to do it. Now we want this mixed pretty well, but you don't have to stir it or anything, not a huge deal. And then we are going to drizzle it into the milk. Don't do it the other way around. Pouring the milk into here is not going to get you a really thorough curdle, and you want to kind of pour slow. As soon as you start doing it, you'll see the reaction starting, and you'll see a bunch of the milk curdling. I like to do it really slow. I find that doing a really slow pour gives me kind of bigger curdling pieces. When I first was doing milk punch, I would kind of whisk while I was doing this pour, but it would kind of break up all the curdles until it was more of a, I don't know, more of a mush and less kind of pieces, which made it harder to strain out a little bit. You do want to make sure that you get all the milk in there, so you can take something, a bar spoon or my knife here, and just give it a little soft mixing and set it aside. Now that's already curdled, that is ready to rock. Next thing we're going to do is strain those curdles out and clarify our drink. This is a little tricky. You sometimes see recipes that call for you to first go through some cheesecloth and then kind of maybe even like a wire mesh bag and then a cheesecloth and then a coffee filter and step your filtration down. You don't really need to do that, and it doesn't really make the coffee filtration any faster. I like to go straight for the coffee filtration, but there is one little tweak to it that's going to help you get a perfectly clear cocktail. Now I like to rinse my coffee filters before I use them. Sometimes you can get a little bit of a kind of papery note in there if you just run the cocktail through a dry coffee filter. So normally I just run it in the sink, no big deal, and dip it in my little water bowl here for y'all because I am going to drink this cocktail after and I want it to be great. So coffee filter is in. We'll take our curdled cocktail mixture, pour the whole thing in the filter, and then we're going to give it maybe about 45 seconds. The very first stuff that comes through the filter is actually not going to be perfectly clear. Some of the smaller curds from the milk are going to kind of come through the coffee filter, but the curdles are going to kind of form a bit of a bed in your coffee filter and actually make it filter cleaner. So after we've given it a few seconds here, and that's probably about good, we're going to take our filter and just transfer it to a different cup. Take our almost clear liquid and very gently, without disturbing it too much, pour it back in the filter. Now this is going to take a while, maybe 20 to 30 minutes. So once you're here, put on a TV show, get something out of the way. You can put it on your coffee table and watch it drip if you want, but we'll be back in a minute when we've got a cocktail.
Drippy, droppy, milky, punchy, pitter patter in my glass. Splishy, splashy, and so crystal clearly makes it worth my time. So keep on dripping, dropping, milky, punchy, right into my glass. I'll be patient, calm, and faithful, longing gently for the time to pass.
Well, I hope everybody had a good 20 to 30 minutes. My 20-30 minutes, the sky darkened and thunder has cracked open the sky and is now raining. So if you're getting the static from that, apologies. The good news is we are now left with a incredibly, perfectly clear milk punch that we are now going to stir over ice, strain onto a cube, and garnish. And that's our cocktail. It's really already built. Now keep in mind when we're stirring, and I'm going to go ahead and start, that this is already a diluted cocktail. All the milk in there really dilutes the alcohol to where we want it to be. So we're not stirring very long to let some water get in there and kind of open up the cocktail. It's really already open. We're just trying to get it cold. So stir gently. You don't want to hear the crackling of the ice, which is kind of always the case because you don't want to break ice into your drink. Dilute it more. It's really already very balanced. You just want to stir it until you think that it's essentially the temperature you want to drink it at, which should be ice cold. Just don't go overboard on this. So that's about good for me. And I'm going to add one big ice cube into a rocks glass, strain our milk punch on top. The milk punch is just one of the prettiest, weirdest drinks. I hope some of y'all are making it at home. It's a sight to behold when you've used 1.5 ounces of milk in a thing and it comes out crystal clear like this. I mean, absolutely beautiful. We're going to garnish with an orange peel. It's really going to complement that aperitivo style amaro in there as well as the 1904. Make sure you get some of the oil spread on top. Drop that in. And that's a milk punch. And it's fantastic. Really, nothing like this in another cocktail. In terms of the mouthfeel, irreplicable in other builds. I hope you all enjoy. This is what a lot of people would consider a very advanced drink. So if you're just getting into bartending and you made one of these and it comes out great, give yourself a little pat on the back. Really beautiful stuff. I hope you enjoy. I can't wait for people to try this drink. All right, y'all. A weird drink, milk punch, but this thing is really fantastic. I hope some of y'all made it along with me. If you did, then you end up posting it on your Instagram story or whatever, please tag Bald Spirits Co. I'd love to share it with you. I love seeing y'all's good work. Don't forget the bar is where you make it. We will have another one of these hopefully next week. Every week until the end of time, new cocktail videos. My name is Max from Baltimore Spirits Company. If you're watching on YouTube, please follow the channel, like the video. It makes a huge difference to us. If you're following us on social media, thanks so much for following us, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.
Drippy, droppy, milky, punchy, pitter-patter in my glass. Splishy, splashy, and so crystal clearly makes it worth my time. So keep on dripping, dropping, milky, punchy, right into my glass. I'll be patient, calm, and faithful, longing gently for the time to pass.